What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am Michael Fletcher, and welcome. Unfortunately, guys, this is the season finale of the Bulls Corner. Unfortunately, Chicago's season has indeed come to an end as Chicago gets eliminated by the Cleveland Cavaliers 4-2 as Cleveland puts a beating on Chicago 94-73 to capture game 6 and win the series. They are off to the Eastern Conference Finals as Chicago goes home in round 2 of the NBA playoffs. I am alongside my partner in crime, Anthony Florio, and it was basically the way this game went down. I'll say this. Pretty evenly matched in the first quarter. Then a pivotal moment in the game. Kyrie Irving re-injured his foot, and basically we're thinking maybe Chicago has a shot. LeBron James had a pedestrian game, not his best game, and I think the numbers will show LeBron did not have a good night. Normally, that would be the bread and butter, and that would be a formula for the Bulls to win this game. Unfortunately for Chicago, they could not hit shots. Turnovers was not an issue. I think we can agree with that. But they couldn't hit shots. They couldn't hit threes. The three-pointers was their downfall throughout the series, and it was again tonight. Butler played a decent game. Rose, not so great. And they just could not get the opportunity. And then Shumpert, Dellavedova, J.R. Smith, all these guys from the Cavaliers started draining shots. Then LeBron got a little hot. And once the bloodbath was over, it was a complete and utter thrashing in the UC tonight. Chicago just did not stand a chance. Chicago, unfortunately, bows out in round 2 of the series as Cleveland, like I said, is off to the Eastern Conference Finals and now waits the winner of the series between the Atlanta Hawks and the Washington Wizards, and Atlanta could finish their series tomorrow night. Let's get into the numbers itself. Let's start with this. LeBron James, like I said, a very, very poor night shooting. 7 of 23, only 15 points. However, 11 assists, 9 rebounds, almost had a triple-double again in this game. Other than that, let's go with the other guys. Tristan Thompson had 13 points. Iman Shumpert also had 13 points, but Dellavedova was the man of the night, coming off the bench, dropping 19 points in the game. J.R. Smith had 12 points in the game as well, and that's why Cleveland won this series. And then one other thing they did that was so good, they out-rebounded Chicago 53-32. They were getting 16 offensive rebounds, guys. They absolutely stymied the Bulls. Every time there was a 50-50 ball, they ended up getting those 50-50 balls. So with that said, that's how you win games. If you have an off night, if you're not shooting great, if you can't get no rebounds, if you make those mistakes, forget it. It doesn't matter who the heck you are. You're not winning a game. Despite Butler getting 20, Rose getting 14, every other Bull was non-existent in this game. I mean, Dunleavy, 7. Gasol, 8. Noah, 4. 11 rebounds. Yeah, nice performance. Then Heinrich didn't even score. Gibson, 2 points. Mirotic, only 7. I mean, it does not matter. Then 4 of 20 from 3-point shooting. No. That's where Chicago started to fall. 37% from the field, 9 of 10 from free throw range, but Cleveland had more free throw opportunities and were drained more free throws. There's nothing more to say. This was a complete and utter. It was horrible. It was a horrible game. I mean, after going 33-31 in first quarter, then you had 25-15, 25-13 in the second quarter. Then the third quarter, neither team was shooting. I mean, I want to say the first 6 minutes of the third quarter was so horrible. Both teams. I mean, there were lids on the rims in the third quarter for the first 6 minutes. I mean, Chicago only hit 1 shot. Cleveland were missing all their shots. You would think, oh my God, this is the opportunity. And then they started to get hot, and at the end, 16-15 in the third. Then forget about the fourth quarter, 21-13. That gives you the 94-73 beatdown. I mean, there is nothing more to say. I am very disheartened with this performance tonight. I thought Chicago was going to have a lot more heart, a lot more oomph with this game. There is a lot of soul searching that needs to be done with the Chicago Bulls. And I don't know if Tom Thibodeau is even going to be back as the head coach, because there's already a lot of rumors going around that he might become the next head coach of the New Orleans Pelicans, guys. So where do Chicago go from here? Man, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a very, very long off season for your Chicago Bulls. Anthony Florio, go ahead, man. It's all yours.
Oh, man, what a difference 24 hours makes, huh? I mean, about this time 24 hours ago, Fletch, you and I were in full-on celebration mode after our New York Rangers did something really special last night, which was completing the 3-1 comeback against the Washington Capitals in Madison Square Garden, you know, where Derek Stepan, or as they're calling him now, Stepan Matteau, which I love. Go figure, 24 hours later, we go from a moment of celebration to a flat-out moment of shame. Wow. Unbelievable. I mean, you would think, being in front of the home fans, in front of the home cooking, a madhouse on Madison, Chicago Bulls are probably saying to themselves, this ain't our town anymore. It's a Blackhawk town, man. We had our town here. It was our town for a long time. But let's face it, Chicago's a Blackhawk town nowadays. It's not a Bulls town anymore. It hasn't been a Bulls town since '98. And I don't know if it'll ever be a Bulls town again. You want to talk about putrid and piss-poor performances? You choose to do it now in front of the home fans, of all things? I'd understand if it was on the road, but for God's sakes, you're in front of the home fans. Oh, man, no. That's not going to sit well with us. And Derek Ferreira has already found the infamous Mortal Kombat, which is very similar to those RKO Vine videos, if you will. A few weeks ago, we had one of those on our end after what we did to the Milwaukee Bucks. But go figure, elimination game. You know, we put that beat down on the Milwaukee Bucks, that epic beat down, and then go figure, we get epic beat down. I mean, I wow. Snoozer of a game. And, you know, Fletch went down all of the important numbers, but there is one number that Fletch forgot to mention, and that is the total rebounding edge. I mean, 53-32 in favor of the Cleveland Cavaliers. 17-11 was the assists. I mean, yes, Chicago, they clamped down on the turnovers once again, which I thought was fantastic. Only 7. That's fine. And Cleveland had 11. The King had 4, but, that's what it is. LeBron, usually I say, LeBron James is the best guy. I mean, he did almost have a triple double. I mean, he had 15 with 11 assists and 9 rebounds. But a couple of guys really stood out to me tonight. But to me, the guy that really stood out was Matthew Dellavedova. He's the guy who stood out to me. I mean, with 19 and two rebounds and an assist. I mean, that was great. But Tristan Thompson, though, I mean, he was another difference maker. He had 13 with 17 rebounds. That's huge. Shumpert, 13, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. J.R. Smith, 12 with 8 rebounds and 2 assists. And James Jones had 9 with 2 rebounds and an assist. And Irving only had 6 and a rebound. Something must have happened to him, I guess. So, and Mozgov had 7 with 5 rebounds and an assist. I mean, when you look at it, of course, you got to say LeBron. Obviously, you got to put him at the top of that list. Tristan Thompson was fantastic as well. Dellavedova, the unsung hero. Shumpert came off well. Smith and James Jones, the bench guys were really the difference maker for the Cleveland Cavaliers in this game tonight. And that's why they're going to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 2009. Whereas for the Chicago Bulls, I mean, Jimmy Buckets, 20 points with 5 rebounds and an assist. Derrick Rose, 14 with 6 assists and 2 rebounds. Noah, 4 with 11 rebounds. Gasol, yes, we had him back. That was great. But unfortunately, he was not the double-double guy that we've known him to be. 8 with 5 rebounds. And, yeah, Dunleavy only had 7. Mirotic had 7. And, yeah, Butler and Rose 20 and 14, and that was pretty much it. I mean, nobody else did anything. And Mirotic got called for a flagrant foul. And, yeah, that was basically them. That was their way of phoning it in. I mean, they basically phoned it in tonight. And it's a damn shame, too. I mean, I cannot for the life of me, believe that a team that was in front of their home fan, the place they had done so well at this year, chance to save their season, and then they go and phone it in like this. I mean, Mikey, 24 hours ago, you and I were in full-on celebration. We're celebrating, one of the most epic victories that we've had, and in the most epic of fashions. Oh, I mean, well, nothing left to say here except, our first go-around for the Bulls corner. I thought, you and I had we had some great success with this, and no question about it. If the Chicago Bulls should be back in the playoffs next year, we'll definitely do it again. No question about it. I mean, because I know it went over, just like our Ranger roundups have, gotten over like rovers. So, the bad news is this is it for the Bulls corner. Bulls corner is over. Good news is we still have Ranger roundups to come, which is good. And so much for Sunday being a day of double indemnity. I mean, we could have had a Bulls corner on Sunday night, but unfortunately that's not going to happen since the series is over. So it's going to be all about WWE Payback, and rightfully so. That's what it should be about, to be honest. So thankfully we can now focus. We can strictly focus on Payback come Sunday and not have to worry about this. Fletch talked about what could happen in the off season. I think about Tom Thibodeau possibly becoming the new head coach of the Pelicans. That's news to me. But hey, I mean, they're in search of a new head coach. I mean, they fired their coach Monty Williams, which I thought was a humongous mistake, considering what Monty Williams did for that team this year. Not just him, but also Anthony Davis. I mean, those two guys were the reasons why the New Orleans Pelicans made the playoffs as a last-place team in their own division, for God's sake. How many times can you say a last-place team in the division actually would make the postseason? That never happens. That team did it. So there you have it. So if Thibodeau does indeed become the next head coach of the New Orleans Pelicans, with Anthony Davis and that talented young roster, New Orleans could be a major player. They could be a dark horse in that Western Conference next year. You heard that here first. And if Tibbs does go, then Fletch and I and our other bold brother Matt Ward we definitely do appreciate everything he did for us, and we had a lot of great success. I mean, after Michael and Scotty and Rodman, all those guys left, Phil Jackson, once the whole dynasty ended after '98, major hard times for like the next decade, or about the next decade, and then Chicago finally made it, right around 06, 07. They finally made it back to the playoffs after all those years. And then Tibbs comes in and has an immediate impact. I mean, one of Doc Rivers' go-to guys for the Boston Celtics. And I think he was on that staff that led the Celtics to that elusive 17th championship in 2008. But oh man, dude. He comes over here and look what he does. Look what he did for us, man. I mean, 2011, man. That's the year I'm never going to forget, because that's the year where Chicago had the best record, and they got to the conference finals. Our hopes were so high, so up. Who ended that? LeBron. And then the following year, we had another great year. We had that lockout season. We had the best record. D-Rose gets hurt. Changes the complexion of that series, and that's why, as a 1 seed, they lose to the 8 seed Philadelphia. And the following year, Chicago makes the playoffs again. They get to the second round. What happens? Who ended our dreams? LeBron. Last year, we lose in the first round to Washington. This year, after a dogfight, a longer than expected dogfight with Milwaukee in the first round, we lose in the second round, and who did it to us again? The biggest Dinkelberg in the NBA today, and the very epitome of the word Dinkelberg, LeBron Dinkelberg James. That's all there is to it. LeBron Dinkelberg James, Michael Fletcher, and you and I know this better than anybody, and Matt Ward too. LeBron Dinkelberg James is a Chicago Bulls killer. Plain and simple. He is an absolute Bulls killer. He did it to us in 2011, in the conference finals. When his overhyped Heat, those overhyped, overrated Miami Heat teams, they got us in the conference finals. 2013, they get us in the second round, and then this year they get us again. So, well, LeBron had a handle in it, but the only reason why we're going home and why we're going to be setting tee times tomorrow. It's not because of LeBron James, and it's not because of the great bench play of Cleveland's bench. The reason why we lost tonight, and you heard this here first, they phoned it in. No heart, no guts, no desire. For the first time in a long time, I hate to say this, I'm embarrassed to be a Chicago Bulls fan on this night. I am beyond embarrassed. Embarrassing performance, dud performance. And I cannot believe that 24 hours ago, we go from high celebration to one of the lowest points in one of the most storied franchises in NBA history. Yeah. Way to go, Bulls fans. Not Bulls fans, I'm sorry. Way to go, Chicago Bulls. Way to go. Put the more and more on, put the whipped cream on the salad. That's all there is to it. We lost tonight because they phoned it in. No heart, no guts, no desire. They basically phoned it in. And if, like I said, if it was on the road, that's fine, whatever. But to do it in front of the home fans who paid their hard-earned money, if I was a fan, if I paid my hard-earned money, I'd want my goddamn money back. Simple as that. I didn't pay my hard-earned money to see a putrid, piss poor performance like that. No, I came there because I wanted to cheer my team on and perhaps rally them. But clearly, they didn't want to be there, man. That's all there is to it. So, and you boys can think about that while you're playing golf tomorrow, and for the unforeseeable future. What is the future? Is Tom Thibodeau coming back? I don't know. If he goes to New Orleans, like I said, New Orleans becomes an immediate player out west because of Anthony Davis and that great young talent they have down there. And if that happens, who's going to coach us now? Maybe Monty Williams. Maybe Monty Williams could be the next head coach of Chicago. You never know. Or maybe they could get, or if he's out there, maybe Mike D'Antoni. I don't know, because they were considering D'Antoni at one time. I just don't know. This team is such a mess right now, Fletch. I really don't know. So yeah. But like I said, in all seriousness, though, Fletch, it was an honor and a pleasure to do this Bulls Corner. Unfortunately, I can't say it was an honor and a pleasure tonight because we were recapping such a pathetic performance tonight. I mean, unbelievable. That's all there is to say about that. So, thoroughly disgusted with this performance, very disappointed. But, hey, at least we still got the Rangers, right? Still got the Rangers. That's all there is to it. Tampa Bay Lightning, Eastern Conference Finals. Hashtag change the ending. But when it comes to the Chicago Bulls, you know the hashtag. Hashtag same old story, same old song and dance. Let's just wrap it up, Fletch. I don't have any more. I can't go on anymore. Let's just say it then.
All right. We're gonna end it. That's it, guys. The season is over. The Bulls Corner is done. What will happen is I will come back in October each night. Or I should say each week, I'll do a special Bulls Corner. And then what we'll do is if Chicago does indeed make it to the postseason, then Anthony and myself will come back each night when there's a Bulls game, immediately after a Bulls game. We'll do that and we'll talk about it like we've been doing it. Unfortunately, we were kind of hoping to do it a lot more longer, a lot more sooner, a lot more longer, I should say. But we go out in the second round thanks to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Ranger Roundup on Saturday. Now, I don't know what time we're going to do it. I was hoping to do it immediately after the game, but I do have work commitments. So maybe Saturday night. We'll see. We'll keep you posted. Keep checking your Facebook, Twitter, Strictly Sports page. We'll have a lot more about it as well. And then, of course, tomorrow night, we got a special edition of Strictly Sports, Derek Ferrera's channel. So SLB 2008-09, and we'll get that rundown for you tomorrow. We're probably going to have a power ranking, the first Major League Baseball power rankings of the season. I don't think we haven't done one yet. And we'll also be previewing the NHL because we got the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. And then, of course, we also will have the news in the world of sports as well. We're going to have to get into the Deflation-gate again. Major news coming out of that, as well as Tom Brady has been suspended for the first 4 games of the regular season. The Patriots were fined $1 million, and they also lost 2 draft picks, a first round in next year's draft, a 4th round in 2017. We will get into that, and I kind of got a sneaky feeling we might have rants coming. I don't know how many on that is there going to be, but I'm kind of pretty sure we might get at least 2, possibly 3. I don't know. I know I'm not ranting about it. I think Ferreira and Bullock are going to go on full-on attack mode. I don't know about Florio, but we'll wait and see how that plays out. That goes down tomorrow night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, for Anthony Florio, I'm Michael Fletcher. For the final time this season, you've been watching the Bulls Corner, a part of the Strictly Sports family of shows right here on YouTube.com. Have a good night. So long, everybody.